He's created a platform, his #1 talk show, The Reflection Show, to empower people around the world to look in the mirror and embrace their greatness from within. Mr. Rizard is the founder of In the Mirror, which was birthed after his father passed away in November the year of 2016. Ramses Rizard is not your ordinary speaker or TV host. He finds ways to pull the best out of you because he believes everyone has a story that comes with an experience. So whoever he encounters, Mr. Rizard reminds them that your experience matters. Please give a round of applause for Mr. Rizard.
How's everybody doing tonight? Do I have anybody who's excited to be here tonight to celebrate this beautiful class? At this time, I want all parents to stand. Every family member, every friend, every teacher, every admin, I want you to stand up in the room. Because before I get ready to share something very important tonight, I want you guys to, at this moment, if we can have everyone's attention, I want you to scream and applaud them for this next level that they're getting ready to embrace. Go ahead and clap it up for them. All right, you may be seated. Now I want the class of 2019 to stand up. And before we move forward, if I can have everyone in the room quiet real quick. Before we move forward, I want the class of 2019 to clap it up and honor all of these people in the room who has been serving and helping you become who you are. You may be seated. Family, friends, I came to give a message tonight and came to have a conversation because my assignments tonight is to remove the last root that could be choking up the seed. It's a decision. I'm here tonight because, like Mr. Bertrand said earlier, that some people didn't believe that you would make it this far, class of 2019. But tonight and this moment, I come to tell you, it has begun. Come on, clap it up right there. Because we live in a world today where most of our students are influenced by culture. And the reality is, they embrace success, but no one tells them about the failure that they have to face ahead. No one is gonna tell you about the failures that you have ahead. But tonight I wanna break something down to you, because there's a richness in your soil, there's a richness in you, that the seed is inside that is getting ready to birth something new. Planted. What does that mean when it comes to this word planted? Planted. What I love about this word planted is the fact of something had to be put inside of you. And every person in this room has planted something inside of you. They have invested in you. They have sown into you. They have done something in your life and in your decision to allow you to be where you are today. But this conversation gets a little in depth tonight because the room is filled with congratulations. But what happened when there is no room as you move forward in life and there's no one to congratulate you? How will you be able to water this seed of success that sits inside of you? I get it. You're excited. You're sitting there in your cap and gown. You're happy. You're ready to roll into the next phase of your life. No more teachers, no more waking up early in the morning and going to class. I get it. You don't want that teacher talking in your ear. You don't want this person in school to bother you. But let me tell you something. You're going into a world where you're going to be challenged. But this is the next season that I'm going to talk about. It's called the season of producing. What does this season of producing means? And let me break this down to you. Producing, it means to build or to make. To build or to make. Yeah, that's right, Nardo. It's something to build or to make. There is something inside of you that you have to build from within in order to produce something for you to make this world a better place. Or maybe I'm talking to a family member, or maybe I'm talking to you. But I believe this conversation is for you today. Because we're congratulating you at this moment. But this is a moment where you got to start producing the right decision. You're going to college, or you may not be going to college. You may have other endeavors in life. But what are you called to produce? Because we all were born with a level of greatness inside of us. But if you don't discover that greatness in your decision today, how will you be able to produce another harvest? How will you be able to allow yourself to see something greater? But no one talks about the process. I get it. You can go on Instagram, you can change the filter, you can post the best picture that you have. You go on Snapchat, you share each other pictures and you share each other moments, but no one talks about the process. You see the house, but you don't understand the value to the house. There's something interesting about the process that I talk about, is the pressure. You see, the greatest diamond that carries the most valuable price to it has to go through pressure. The best wine has to be crushed in order for it to even be the best wine. So what is Mr. Ramsey saying? Mr. Ramsey is telling you that in this next season, as you're getting ready to produce, there's going to be pressure that will come to you. There will be pressure that will come to you. Some of your circumstances might squeeze the best out of you. Some of your circumstances might crush you. But the crushing will only allow you to be the best person that you can be, because there is still value inside of you. There is still value inside of you that you and I know that what you've been gifted to have, that's the gift that's called into the world in order for you to thrive in the purpose that you're called to do. But harvest is a very interesting thing, because most of us, what we do is we eat automatically instead of reserving something. You are called to produce a harvest. You're called to produce something great for you to come back to your community or your family and friends and help them be the best that they can be. Some of you sitting in this chair tonight, and you're the only hope that you have, that they have. Javon, some of you guys are sitting in this chair today because you're the only hope that they have. But I'm having this conversation with you is because if you fail, no one in that room is going to congratulate you but your vision. You're born with something. You're born with a seed. You're born to produce the seed. You're born to create a harvest out of this seed so that other people can eat. What is the next phase of your life that's going to allow you to do that? Well, the next phase is your environment. How you control your environment, how you manage people is how you manage your success. Whether you're in college, whether you're on the job, but how you manage people is how you manage your success. You are assigned to produce something. You are assigned to give a healthy harvest. If you don't give a healthy harvest, people that are hoping on you are starting to die from within because they have no other hope to look at. But it's okay. I'm coming to have a conversation with you tonight because we got to keep it 100. We got to keep it right, because if we don't keep it right and you go out there into a world and you fail, the next thing is some of you are going to return home, and the only thing that's going to be waiting for you is a jail cell bed. The only thing that's going to be waiting for you is, maybe I could have done this, maybe I could have done that. Child, I'll go back to school next year. But when next year comes, you don't get the opportunity to go back to school. That's why it is important in this very moment that this intentional decision that you make, you have to produce out of it. It is your assignment. It's no one else to carry your burdens but you. But the good thing is, there's good news to it, that you can do it. Though the farmer is up early in the morning and he's working and he's tilling the ground, he's pulling out the roots, but he knows that he's not planting the seed for himself. He's planting it for everyone who he's connected to. What are you going to do with the seed that is inside of you? Are you going to give up the minute you wake up the first day after graduating and you're figuring out what you do? Are you going to give up, or are you going to start to plan? Are you going to start to breathe life into what people have been telling you the entire years that you've been in school? See, the teachers are done. Your parents, they have other things that they're obligated to do in order to provide for you, so the decision is in your hand. What are you going to do, class of 2019? Because when you take off that cap and gown, that hat, the world is waiting for you. And that's why I'm having this conversation with you tonight. Remember what I talked about all year? Rich is a mentality, but being wealthy is a legacy that you can leave behind for those who are around you. You don't need $1 million to make anything out of life. All you need is a decision and an idea and faith for you to believe. But I'm talking to you tonight because in this moment is just for you. For the fellas, I'm talking to you because you are leaders, you are kings. You are an upright person. You're chosen to lead with a tenacity to be great. But if you are a weak farmer, how would you be able to create a harvest and produce for others who are around you? For the ladies, you're strong, you're confident, you're built with such wisdom. But if you don't produce, what do you do for those who are next to you? Oh yeah, it has begun. It has begun. Tonight is that night when you throw that cap and gown in the air, when you throw it and you scream and you applaud yourself. You're saying yes to tilling that ground, because the only root that can choke the seed is you. The only root that can eliminate the gift that's inside of you is you. There's business owners sitting in front of me. There's CEO of companies sitting in front of me. There's great fathers, there's great husbands sitting in front of me. There are great wives, great business owning women in here that is sitting in front of me. But are you afraid to produce after this season? Are you afraid to work hard and bring a harvest that others can eat from? And I brought a special treat for you tonight. And I know you're wondering, what are these chairs back here? Because I believe that my voice is assigned to someone in this room. But there's another voice that could be assigned to you as well. And I wanted to bring this treat because this class, this generation, this community needs it. You need to see what the next chapter of your life will look like. Because as some of you sit there, and as some of you thinking, what is the next phase of my life? After I have my graduation party, after I spend time with family and friends, what is the next phase of my life? And before we transition into this talk show segment questionnaire, I want to leave with you this quote. And the quote says, "Don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds you plant." Don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds you plant. You have a heavy assignment to go out into the world and plant your seed. It is your duty to find the right environment that's going to pour into you so that your seed is growing, so that you're producing a harvest that is valuable. So I want you to look at yourself, and I want you to think about this. What does your harvest look like 4 years from now? What does your harvest look like 1 day from now? Because your harvest is not determined by time. It's determined by the decision of you willing to work, willing to take care and manage what you have in front of you. And that's your dreams, that's your goal, that's your passion, and that's your purpose. I want to bring up a very dear brother of mine. He is a motivational speaker. He travels from different schools. He's a leader. He is an individual who is wise beyond his age. And he's the CEO founder of the Joshua Mentality. Ladies and gentlemen, clap it up for the Joshua Mentality, Joshua Washington. And I wanted to bring the Joshua Mentality on because he's an expert. He graduated from UCF, has a bachelor's degree. He does leadership training for Florida Hospital. I'm gonna let Josh introduce yourself. Josh, introduce yourself to everyone, who you are and where you're from.
How y'all doing tonight? Well, first off, I want to thank the graduates and all the families for allowing me the privilege of being able to be here with you tonight and speak to everyone in here. I don't take that lightly. This is a big moment, and I just thank you all for letting me be a part of it. And so it's not about me, but I will tell you a few things. Ramsey is right. I moved up here in 2007 to begin college. Had no idea what I was getting myself into. But flash forward about 12 years now, yes, I travel and do a lot of speaking like this, but also do a lot of leadership and coaching for doctors and CEOs and all kind of things like that. So I just want to drop some nuggets tonight, and hopefully that'll help you in your journey as you continue to the next season of your life.
Now, Josh, let me ask you a question, because a few years ago, you were sitting in these seats. And you see these wonderful students here, you see the staff, you see family, you see friends, you see everyone that's in the room, and you were sitting there wearing your cap and gown. What was your thoughts back then when it came to you thinking about your future and where you wanted to be in life?
My first thought, to be quite honest, was how fresh my haircut was going to be on the day of graduation was the first thought. Rams and I think we share the same barber. So that was my first thought. The second thought was, when is this thing going to be over? Which I know is a lot, which is probably a lot of what you all think. But here's why I point that out. You can miss the moment if you're not engaged on what's right in front of you. We teach a lot about being present.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of families in here. And one of the things that we lack a lot of times in today's world and family is presence. We don't really gather at the table together to eat. We don't really spend time with each other, you know. But these kind of moments are really special because for a lot of you in this room, it's the last time you will see each other. And some of my classmates I graduated with, I haven't seen them since graduation day. Some of them have even passed away and have gone on because of, you know, what we grew up at. So I would say, just take advantage of this moment, man. Don't let none of this pass by, because you will look back and you will cherish just this moment.
Now, you said that some of your class members you haven't seen ever since you graduated. What do you feel like has caused that situation to be the way it is with you not interacting with your classmates?
It's just life. Life happens. People grow, people move on. Some are in different states doing things. Some of you, I was talking to some of the young men who are going off to play sports. So you just spread out, man, and life kind of takes a matter of its own, and it's just how it goes, you know?
So let me ask you a question. What are 3 key points you can share to help navigate life after high school today?
3 key points. You know what? The first one I would say is, for all of you graduates, keep your joy, man. I got a chance to be back there with some of you all, and I got a chance to spend some time with a few of you, not all of you, but I noticed just how joyous this group is. You like to have fun, y'all like to kind of weigh on each other a little bit, and I challenge you not to lose that, because that is so important when you go into the world. It reminds me of a story of a young girl. Her name was Tasha. Young girl, kindergarten student. And just like you all, this school here, she grew up in the Word. She was taught what the Bible says and all those things. And so she heard about the story of Jonah and the well. And so when she went to school and she was sharing this story with her teacher looks at her and says, you know what, I'm sorry to disappoint you, Tasha, but there's no way a well can swallow up a man and then take him to another destination. Well, Tasha was raised by God-fearing parents, so she looked at her teacher and she said, well, that's not true. I know my mom and daddy told me that's not true. A well can swallow up a man.
Wow.
The teacher kept arguing. She said, no, that's not true. Scientifically proven, a well cannot swallow up a human being.
Yeah.
So they went back and forth for a moment. And then Tasha says to the teacher, well, you know what, teacher? Don't worry about it. I'll just ask Jonah myself when I get to heaven. The teacher looked at Tasha and said, well, what if Jonah's in hell? She said, well, then you can ask him then. Tasha was a wise girl, but Tasha also understood the importance of joy. And just like you all laugh, don't miss out on opportunities to laugh, man. Because a lot's gonna be thrown at you, and it might feel overwhelming sometimes, but don't miss out on an opportunity to take joy in whatever situation you find yourself in.
And even talking about the journey of them finding themselves and living in the moment, because you have a lot of students here. Come on, class of 2019, make some noise real quick. I mean, Javon, that's Javon, the crazy one. But I love Javon. But let me ask you this question, Josh, because this is a very important question when it comes to the students here. How has education significantly in your life changed you since that day that you went to college, coming from a poor city?
Well, honestly, I didn't have a real big appreciation for education when I went to college. I actually went to college because, number one, it was the way to get out of my town. I grew up in a town, we had 5 elementary schools, 1 middle school, 1 high school.
Wow.
So by the time you got to 12th grade, you was tired of everybody in there. You were just ready to get out and go somewhere. So when I went to college, to be honest, my mentality was, let me get out of here, because the only thing I'm really worried about is music and girls. Those are the two things I wanted to major in. But what I realized though was that the reason why I did not have a high value on education was because I did not know who I was.
Wow.
And that's an important thing, because if you don't know who you are, then you just feel like you're going through a system of learning systematic instructions, but none of it really feels like it applies, you know what I'm saying? But something changes when you realize, hey, these are my strengths, gifts, and talents that God has given me.
Yeah.
That's what I want to educate myself on. That's when life begins to open up and change. And I encourage you all to do that. Don't just look at college as an institution of learning. Look at it as an institution of discovering. That you can discover who you are. What are your talents? What are your God-given strengths? I call it digging for the mirror. So digging for that area where you get down to the bottom and you see who you are, who God made you to be. And once you realize and you see that, you develop it.
And what does it mean to have a successful mentality as they transition into the real world? What does it mean to have a successful mentality?
What does it mean to have a successful mentality? I think it means to have a successful foundation. One thing I love about this school is this seems to be a God-fearing school. Am I right? Am I speaking to a student body full of God-fearing young people?
Yes.
That's what it seems like. So I think your mentality has to be rooted in something.
Yeah.
And you can choose what that is. It can either be the world, it can either be your friends, it can be a number of things. But I think the mentality of success has to be rooted in success. And so I challenge you to keep that mentality and keep that foundation that you all have in God, because that's what will point you to success.
Wow, y'all clap it up one more time for Joshua Washington, the Joshua mentality. And class of 2019, I want you to repeat this after me. Say, today I pledge that every decision I make will bring value to who I will become. I will trust the process and study my failures. I will educate myself and guard my efforts. I choose to be better. My purpose depends on it. No matter the outcome, I was born and created to be successful. One more time. Today I pledge that every decision I make will bring value to who I will become. I will trust the process and study my failures. I will educate myself and guard my efforts. I choose to be better. My purpose depends on it. No matter the outcome, I was born and created to be successful. Period. Y'all clap it up for yourself. Thank you so much for having me. And remember, it is your season to produce, and it's your season to reap a harvest. Y'all have a wonderful night, and congratulations again. Y'all clap it up for the class of 2019.